with his singles win over Mark Philippoussis. The particulars on Leighton Hewitt, former world number one, a dazzling record in Davis Cup competition, 28-6, gives him the most singles win in the brilliant history of his nation in Davis Cup competition. But for Hewitt, it's been a myriad of injuries as of late. Did reach the quarterfinals at the U.S. Open, losing to Andy Roddick, but he has battled knee tendonitis. We'll come back with the details on his opponent, Jose Acasuso. Get you set for what should be a spirited match in Buenos Aires coming up on the Tennis Channel. Pressure is on Leighton Hewitt because earlier today we brought you the opening rubber between David Nalbandian and Mark Philippoussis, the scud 117 in the world. Nalbandian number 4. David took the first set behind one break, 6-4. Second set was just as sharp, won at 6-3. But the Aussie would raise his play in the third. There were some spicy moments in this one. You saw that was in the general vicinity of Nalbandian, and you also saw David's reaction. We'll take another look how Philippoussis dialed that shot in. Just another reminder of how intense things can be in Davis Cup play. So unique with the team concept and national pride on the line. That did motivate Philippoussis because he would cash in on a break, lead it 2-1. However, momentum was short-lived. Crowd did all they could to keep Nalbandian in it. He rattled off 4 consecutive game victories. As we take a look back at how things resulted in the immediate moments after that contentious moment, there was Nalbandian's answer. But as we touched on from that point on, all Nalbandian. A look at match points. He won it in a tidy 1 hour and 59 minutes, cruising to yet another Davis Cup victory, 4-3-3, giving Argentina the one-love edge in the best-of-5 format. As for Acasuso, currently number 26 in the world, that is a career high, 23 years of age, lives in Buenos Aires. Good stature, as you see, at 6'3", big serve. Playing for Mancini, who got as high as number 8 in singles in 1989. Acasuso has been terrific on clay this year, 24-8. We brought you his victorious performance in Viña del Mar, Chile, on what is a windy and overcast afternoon in Buenos Aires. Chance of rain for these teams to contend with. Acasuso, quarterfinalists as well in Buenos Aires, semifinalists in Hamburg, finals in Stuttgart, all on clay. Played well on a hard court, too. Quarterfinals at Toronto. For Leighton Hewitt, it's all about maintaining his focus. He'll have to tune out the crowd, which presumably will be scrutinizing every shot, but we've seen his tenacity over the years. One of the toughest customers in recent memory. A handful of Aussie supporters trying to root their mate on the victory in what is a must-win scenario. Effectively, Australia can't afford to go down too low. You see the particulars on Acasuso. This is his first year of Davis Cup play. He is yet to lose a rubber. To call the match, we turn it over to Mark Cox and Jason Goodall.
Australia had a good win in the first round of the competition this year, defeated Switzerland in Geneva. Hewitt didn't play in that tie, so it was a good win for the Aussies. Federer didn't play for Switzerland either, of course, and then in the quarterfinals they demolished Belarus in Melbourne on grass 5-0, with Hewitt and Chris Guccione on that occasion the heroes of the day. Argentina have played pretty well too, defeated Sweden on clay here in Buenos Aires in the first round of the competition, and then in the quarterfinals defeated the defending champions Croatia over in Zagreb. So that was an exceptionally good win, although Mario Ancic was injured throughout the weekend and was unable to compete.
Well, Hewitt starting off really well, no nerves at all. And that's the experience that he brings to this match.
The perfect start by the Australian number one. And there's been a lot of bad blood really in the past between Hewitt and a lot of the Argentine players. He's had spats with Juan Ignacio Chela, with Guillermo Coria, and Albandian didn't have too many kind words to say about him before the beginning of this tie. And of course the Argentines crushed Australia. It must have been a defeat that was very difficult for them to take. The last time these two nations met in 2005, it was in the World Group quarter-finals in Sydney on grass. The Australians were heavy favourites to win. Albandian played exceptionally well throughout the weekend, winning both singles and the doubles with Mariano Puerta, and really embarrassed Hewitt in his own backyard. So the Australian comes here looking for revenge, but it's a very big ask. It's a terrific return, and of course Hewitt, one of the best returners in the game.
Well, there's no question that Hewitt is out here to try to dominate, try to get as quick a lead as he possibly can. Moving the ball around Acasuso well with his forehand. Tall, gangly player, 6'3". Moves well though for his size.
The serve and the forehand undoubtedly his two favourite shots. That's what he'll be looking to do the most damage with. And the court not quite as heavy now as it was at the beginning of the day. It's dried out a little bit, even though they watered it heavily between matches. It's still difficult to get any help from the court as you attempt to hit through it. Have to be patient, have to wait for the right opportunity to be aggressive. A very important game for Acasuso to settle the nerves, managing to hold serve relatively comfortably in the end, and that will do his confidence the power of good. I think there was a call, just wasn't particularly loud. Strangely enough, Acasuso reminds me a little bit of Philippoussis when he was playing well and when he was at the very top of his game. Does take big swings at the ball, likes to generate a lot of spin, moves a little better than Philippoussis does, and certainly did, even when he was playing exceptionally well, but a little bit more consistent than the Australian.
Consistency rewarded there on that last run, and I can see what you mean there, Jason. He doesn't hit quite through the ball in the same way as Philippoussis, but nevertheless a lot of topspin. The trajectory is slightly more arced than Philippoussis, so that perhaps gives him just that extra element of control. Because sometimes the problem is you're putting so much topspin on the ball, the slight mishit, the ball shoots out of the playing area.
Acasuso lives here in Buenos Aires, so he'll get a lot of support, no doubt about that. He's enjoyed a couple of very successful years. Let's not forget that at the end of 2003 he was ranked outside the top 100, so he's done exceptionally well in a very short space of time. Currently ranked 26 in the world and rising. A winner already on the ATP Tour earlier this year in Vina del Mar. That was on clay, able to beat Nicolas Massou in the final, 6-4, 6-3. And that was the third of his fledgling career. That's great hands. Had to watch the ball right onto the racket and be a...
Intense matchup. 1-2 opening set. We take you back to Mark and Jason.
Played in both Argentina's ties so far this year. Played singles against Sweden, defeated Thomas Johansson there and Jonas Bjorkman in a dead rubber on the final Sunday. Argentina winning that match 5-0. And then he was also chosen to play against Croatia in Zagreb, but just played the doubles there with David Nalbandian, and they had a win in 4 sets on the middle Saturday, but wasn't chosen for the singles. Augustin Caleri was chosen then, and he's in the team now, but he will probably play the doubles tomorrow. So a lot of options available to the Argentine captain. Well, the signs of nerves are certainly there in the Acasuso game. The arm a little tight, a little stiff. He's not swinging freely at the ball, certainly hasn't found his range or rhythm yet. And here's Hewitt with an opportunity to break. The shades of Mark Philippoussis there, serving a double fault on break point, something Philippoussis did twice in the opening rubber here. A disastrous start for Acasuso, giving the Australian fans something to cheer as Hewitt takes an early 3-1 lead.
Yes, I think it is a case of nerves, Davis Cup nerves, which affect a lot of players playing for your country. That added responsibility is taking him a little more time to settle down. Well, that'll boost his confidence.
It's an interesting point you make, though, because I've seen Acasuso play some exceptionally good tennis throughout this year, but I've also seen him get very tight in a couple of big matches, and he hasn't been able to play his best tennis when he's needed to most. That was a lovely little forehand from Hewitt there when he was under a considerable amount of pressure.
Yes, resourceful shot, that side spin forehand, creating that angle. Well, an important point there. Acasuso starting to get his rhythm and his timing.
Nicely done. Hewitt does have good feel at the net. He loves to play those angled volleys and those little drop volleys when he finds himself in a good position in the forecourt.
And quick to come in here and just play that deftly played volley. Good to break up the rhythm as well of those ground stroke rallies. Well, the weaker side to me seems for Hewitt to be on the forehand. He's made 4 errors in the last few games on that wing, very few on the backhand.
Again, it was another good hustle by Hewitt. Again, attempting to come underneath the ball to get a bit of slice on it, to get it back over the net, but it stayed low. Acasuso does use extreme grips on both the forehand and the backhand, and sometimes if you can get the ball low enough, it can be hard for the Argentine to actually get underneath the ball as he attempts to create all that topspin on each and every shot. He's pushed it just wide. He's not holding back. Acasuso is still going for the line, still attempting to play aggressive tennis, but making a whole host of unforced errors. Well, Acasuso's only made 3 of 11 first serves so far, and if he continues to serve as poorly as he has done at the beginning of the match, then he's going to play right into Hewitt's hands.
That was a better serve. He took the speed off of it there and just made sure that he got it in and allowed the kick to have the impact.
Just caught the back edge of the baseline, the ball staying low. It either bounces up higher than you would expect or skids through a little bit when the ball catches the line. Very tough to make the adjustment on a clay court when that happens. And again, it's only a matter of inches. He simply isn't making enough shots at the moment and is missing far too many. 2 more break points for Hewitt. The nightmare continues for Acasuso. Hewitt moves to within 4 points of wrapping up this opening set, and we've only been on court just over 20 minutes. Hewitt's done an exceptionally good job of silencing the crowd so far.
Yes, offensive captain there. Not quite sure, I think, what advice to give his man.
Interesting too that Hewitt's only made 6 of 17 first serves, so things can only get better as far as those numbers are concerned. So Acasuso will be a little disappointed that he hasn't been able to take advantage of that fact so far.
Most of the mistakes that are coming from Acasuso's racket are wide. He's not hitting the ball long. Maybe he's just needs to concentrate his effort a little bit more down the centre of the court at this stage.
Hewitt's certainly not playing faultless tennis. He's made a few unforced errors off that forehand, not serving as well as he would want. The first serve percentage is languishing in the mid-30s, but it's the unforced errors from Acasuso that have gifted him the majority of his 5 games. And crucially making that first serve when he needed it most. It's a very underrated part of the Hewitt armoury. When he's playing well, he usually serves well and earns considerable amount of cheap points with it. Set point. Some good variation with the second serve.
John Fitzgerald knows all about the drama of Davis Cup, part of a cup-winning team for the Aussies in '86. A dominant performance by Leighton Hewitt. Acasuso apparently feeling the pressure of Davis Cup tennis in that opening set, broken twice. And thus far, an outstanding job by the Aussie of neutralizing this capacity crowd, better than 14,000 on hand, trying to root their countrymen on to victory. Set number 2, Acasuso serves, back to Mark and Jason.
Problem is the crowd are also getting a little bit restless now, and that will impact upon him.
Also hugely important for Hewitt to build on the momentum that he's been able to create in winning that opening set. Keep Acasuso under the cosh. Good tennis, turning defense into attack. Very well indeed there, Hewitt.
Well, that was a superb point by Hewitt. He was slithering and sliding, and yet at the end of it all, he was able to play the shot with the initiative to win the point. He really hung in well.
And that will do Acasuso's confidence, the power of good. The crowd getting right behind him immediately in the early stages of this second set. It was only a hold of serve, but it will mean an awful lot more than that.
I think it was the way that he played that last point too, which is of significance. It was a big serve and big forehand. He was in danger in that last game of really struggling. He's led off the hook a little bit by Hewitt, who made a couple of mistakes on the forehand side, lost control of the ball. And there, look at the low percentage of first serves. 38 for Hewitt, 44 for Acasuso. There we are. Number of unforced errors, 14 for Acasuso. So that figure needs to come down, and probably will as he gains his confidence and gains his timing. But maybe that last game we will reflect as a key one in him sort of getting his game together, building his confidence, allowing him to play as well as he's capable of. Certainly dictating this point, Acasuso, and a lovely backhand down the line. That one-handed shot hit with power and a lot of topspin.
And the crowd really starting to get involved now too, and right behind Acasuso. They are demanding a positive response to the loss of the opening set.
Tricky ball, this miss-hit, and Hewitt struggled to time it. Again, an error on the forehand side. Two excellent serves eradicates the love 30 deficit. Look at the placement of this, right in the corner. It's not overly powerful, this serve, it's just the placement which is the key aspect of that.
Brilliant. Outmaneuvering Hewitt with relative ease.
Well, he orchestrates this rally to perfection here. Acasuso brings Hewitt into the net, and then it's an easy pass down the line. Plenty of margin for error. Hewitt perhaps making the mistake there of going cross-court. Should have gone down the line. Fed the ball to Acasuso. An easy shot and a break point.
Brian Weber back with you. We are having some technical issues, so we'll take a quick break and come back with more Davis Cup tennis. It's Australia and Argentina. Stay with us here on the Tennis Channel. Brian Weber back with you. While we were away, Leighton Hewitt saved the break point, so it's level at 1 second set. Acasuso serves 30-love. Let's rejoin Mark Cox, Jason Goodall.
good anticipation from Hewitt, and he's got one of the very best lobs in the game. Very, very difficult to read when he's going to use it. The disguise that he employs is top class.
Yes, he moved almost before Acasuso hit that forehand. He was expecting it and had plenty of time to execute that shot.
There's a point well played by Acasuso. Hewitt working hard from the baseline. We've seen him use that slice forehand on a number of occasions so far when he's been pushed wide to his right-hand side. Nice to see Acasuso coming into the net. He has pretty good feel when he does so, but tends to play the majority of his tennis from the back of the court. The execution of that backhand volley there was pretty good, just opening the racket face enough to get the job done. Hewitt continues to struggle with the forehand. The vast majority of the unforced errors that he's made in the match have come off that particular.
Argentina has not lost a home tie in 8 years, but they're trying to reverse another trend. They have not played well in semifinals. This, the fifth rubber, 2003. Carlos Moya victorious over Gaston Gaudio. Spain moved on to the finals. Lost to Australia that year. And overall, it's not been great performances put up by the Argentines in semifinal competition. You see the particulars, nearly 1-5. Their lone semifinal win came in 1981 over the UK. Then they lost to the United States. John McEnroe part of 3 wins over Guillermo Vilas and the Argentines in Cincinnati. Argentina, though, has been dominant in recent years. This is their 4th semifinal in 5 years, trying to counter what Australia has done overall. We talked about their magnificent play in Davis Cup competition, 28 cup victories. Winner of this tie awaits the winner of the tie between the United States and Russia. You can see primetime coverage from Moscow as the United States, led by Andy Roddick and James Blake, taking on Rod Salkin. And Mikhail Yuzny in singles play. We'll have that for you at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Tennis Channel. And the particulars of Argentina Davis Cup competition, founded in 1921. And Guillermo Vilas has been the key contributor, really raising this nation's profile in our sport. Think back to 1977 when he had that brilliant year, won both the French Open and the U.S. Open. Fifth all-time meeting, Argentina and Australia. We talked about the recent years. 2002, it was all Argentina, but not accurately indicating how Australia's played in recent years because Leighton Hewitt was not part of that team. Argentina rolled to the 5-love sweep. Let's rejoin Mark and Jason.
It was a nice move into the net, but he's got to be careful. Sometimes he does telegraph those little drop volleys. And Acasuso was already moving up the court there, and perhaps should have done a little better with the backhand.
Looked as though Fitzgerald was having a chat there with Hewitt's coach, Rashid.
That's what Acasuso has the ability to do when he's playing well, to hit winners from all areas of the court, even against the best players in the world.
And he plays it so effortlessly. It's a nice early take back and a fluid shot, really generating a lot of pace, great depth. Difficult shot to read.
And that forehand continues to cause all sorts of problems for Hewitt. Self-inflicted, a lot of unforced errors off that particular wing. And Acasuso here with another opportunity to break serve. Remember, he had break points in the second game in this set, failed to convert.
Half a chance there for Acasuso, just lost his footing a little bit. Expected the ball to come to his forehand instead of back behind him on the backhand.
Hewitt managing to hold serve again, but had to work hard in order to do so. In both service games this set, he's had to save break points along the way before eventually holding. So even though the scores are level, you do feel that Acasuso has done very well indeed at the beginning of this set to get right back in the match, and perhaps the momentum now working slightly more in his favour.
An impressive play there by Acasuso, and a gallant effort by Hewitt as he recovers here. Lob not quite deep enough.
A reminder, if you weren't with us at the beginning of this tie, that Nalbandian put the hosts in an exceptionally good position by defeating Philippoussis in the first rubber of the day. Straight sets, 6-4, 6-3, 6-3. And the signs are very positive indeed for...
He had an impact in another sport, and he's having an impact here.
And all Hewitt can do in a situation like this is concentrating on taking care of business on his own serve. As long as he continues to hold, he'll be more than happy. And Hewitt thinks that ball was deep. He's got the mark. It'll be inspected at close quarters by the officials. Hewitt very confident that the ball was deep of the baseline. Confirmed by the umpire. Dirty love. A third ace for the Australian. No double faults as yet. And the first serve percentage steadily rising. He's so good when he's got the opportunity to use the lob. The forehand we've seen earlier in the match, but the backhand in particular, absolutely outstanding. To get the ball over the head of Acasuso, who's 6'3" tall, with the greatest of ease is exceptionally difficult to do.
Yes, rather let off the hook though in there. With that volley right there, it should have gone into the cross court and he was a certain winner. Acasuso playing for safety and it cost him.
3-all. We're entering a really important passage of play here in the match. Next 15 to 20 minutes could prove absolutely vital. The drop shot was a good one, but no real chance for Hewitt once he elected to go cross-court off it. Just opened up the court for Acasuso to push the ball into the open space. But he's starting to construct the points an awful lot better than he did in the first set. He's a lot more confident. His feel on the ball has improved as a result. And he's winning his service games a lot more easily. In the first set, those ground strokes were missing the line by inches here. And the perfect start to such an important game for the hosts.
Not an easy overhead. He elects to go down the middle, but really that was an ambitious shot off the toes to play a drop volley.
He's made it, caught the edge of the line, and these shots that he's aiming down the line now are proving very, very difficult for Hewitt to repeatedly chase down and get back in play.
He's hitting with deadly accuracy. This ball curves over the net. He spins onto the edge of the line there.
Hewitt, for once, not able to correctly anticipate where Acasuso was going to play the forehand. Diego Maradona absolutely delighted, because it's Argentina now with an opportunity to break serve. Acasuso throughout this game has been utterly dominant. Just lost his footing ever so slightly there when Hewitt came into the net, but anxious moments for John Fitzgerald, the Australian captain. Certainly doesn't want to see Hewitt get involved in a dogfight that goes the distance. Good depth on the return of serve. Delight for Alberto Mancini, the Argentine captain. Acasuso now starting to play somewhere near his very best tennis that was distinctly absent in the opening set. Juan Ignacio Chela, his fellow teammate, and Diego Maradona are on their feet applauding the quality of tennis in that last game. And Argentina now just 4 points away from drawing level at 1 set apiece.
Well, this is a purple patch. And even the high-risk shots there are working. Beautifully played. Pivots on the top of the net and just bounces over.
Acasuso doesn't like the call. The umpire has had a slightly closer look at it. All to no avail as far as the Argentines are concerned. Certainly looked a little tentative when executing that backhand.
Well, that certainly has given a boost to Hewitt too.
Didn't really go for the serve. It was a very negative slice backhand, just putting the ball back in play, hoping for an error from Hewitt. It doesn't happen very often when the Australians playing well on the big points. And now Hewitt with an opportunity to break back. Which he's done, and it was relatively simple.
So serving to stay in the set.
It's a much better start. Sometimes it is easier to break serve in order to win the set rather than hold, with the additional pressures that it brings when you step up to the line and attempt to serve the set out. There's a lot less expectation when you're returning. And now it's Hewitt's turn to get tight. That forehand has been a little bit of a liability throughout the match, despite the success in that opening set. And it continues to be a liability. Acasuso from nowhere, after the disappointment of failing to hold his serve in the previous game when he served for the set, here has 3 set points. The serve must have been on the very edge of the line. And full marks to Hewitt for having the courage to come into the net on such a big point.
Still set point.
shame. You could feel the expectation of the crowd the longer the rally went on. It's 2 set points that Acasuso has squandered. He's got a chance though here to make amends. Hewitt still with an awful lot of work to do to get out of this service game unscathed. Well, the ball was deep, I thought it was. The advantage is that we are playing on clay. You can see the mark. It was a shot that he had to take on. It was missed by the narrowest of margins.
Yes, and here it was nowhere near there. It was an outright winner, there's no question about it, but it was just fractionally long. So a 3 set point save by Hewitt, hanging on by the skin of his teeth, literally.
Well, Acasuso feels this was a fault. He knows where the ball bounced, and the umpire confirms it. But that call not quite as important as the previous one. And that one is made. That one was definitely just inside the line. So Acasuso with a 4th chance to wrap up this 2nd set. Got to take your hat off to Hewitt after the first 3 points and the manner with which he lost them in this game. For him to come back and be playing as tightly as he is at the moment really is outstanding. Mental toughness. Brilliant. The right time to play the shot. Hewitt was deep behind his own baseline. Acasuso just inside his. And Hewitt, I think, expecting the big forehand. So the time was right to vary the play.
There's a clever shot, just slicing the ball, pushing it, or nudging it even, just on the angle, seeing that Hewitt was way out of court. So yet another set point, number 5.
He's missed it.
The atmosphere has gotten far more spirited inside Parque Roca in Buenos Aires as Jose Acasuso has picked up his play. As you see, every seat filled inside the stadium. Second set concluded with 3 consecutive breaks of serves. Acasuso and Hewitt head to the third. Diego Maradona has been vital in leading the crowd, looking as nimble as he did on the soccer pitch all these many years later. Acasuso serves to start the third. We rejoin our match announcers in Argentina, Mark Cox, Jason Goodall.
Court's been dragged, but it hasn't been watered in between sets, so there won't be as many bad bounces now for the players. They'll be able to move a little bit better too. Just having dragged the court, it will be a little smoother. But it doesn't affect the speed of the court. When the court is watered, that certainly does. It plays a little slower and a little heavier. Might be difficult for Acasuso at the beginning of this third set to maintain his concentration. After winning that second set, there would have been all sorts of things going through his mind at the change of ends. And this is proving to be a disastrous start to the third set by the Argentine. 3 break points for Hewitt. And an absolute disaster it turned out to be. A couple of double faults and the crowd have been silenced. Really, I think, still thinking about what happened at the tail end of that second set, and has a little bit of a hangover because of that.
Yes, and that's the statistics of the second set. They're pretty equal, really. The number of winners there by the Argentine, 14-8. Some good play, but what strikes me about this match really is the way this man fluctuates. It's quite astounding, really. He's fluctuating like a yo-yo, and of course that gives great heart and hope for Hewitt, because he's the man who's going to be pressing all the time. His play doesn't vary greatly at all, and this is the question really, is these ups and downs, this roller coaster of the opponent. He's got to get it under control.
Brian Weber back with you. We are having some technical issues and working to rectify them from Buenos Aires. Leighton Hewitt cashing in on the break to open the third set. We have visuals once more. Back to Mark and Jason.
It's quite amazing. The timing is now eluding him.
Interesting too how the players' psyches can change so quickly. Having lost that second set, Hewitt will have been very disappointed, and the crowd will have been getting into his mind. But suddenly, having broken serve in the first game of this third set, he'll be thinking, I can win this match again.
Well, that's the beauty of the scoring system, isn't it? That, you know, a new set, it's a fresh start, a fresh opportunity, and you've got to be an optimist. I think most tennis players are, and Hewitt's whole demeanour has changed within a very short period of time. He now looks optimistic, positive, looks as though he's got a chance, more energy. You can hear him in the background urging himself on.
It's nicely done. And the other thing that I think Hewitt will be very well aware of is the fact that Acasuso does get nervous. He's not a particularly good front runner. I remember a match he was playing in Stuttgart in the final of the tournament there earlier this year when he was playing against David Ferrer, the Spaniard, led by 2-0 and 5-1 in that, or 2-1 rather, and 5-1 in the fourth, and eventually lost the match in 5 sets. So he does have a history of letting nerves affect his play. And once you have a reputation like that in the locker room, it's very, very difficult to get rid of it.
Well, that was a little unfortunate. Someone in the crowd shouting out just as Acasuso was going to hit that ball, but it really was a wild miss-hit. It illustrates the state of mind within which he is now in.
Important, therefore, for Hewitt to take advantage of this particular passage of play. Mark Philippoussis there on the right of your screen, a loser in straight sets to David Nalbandian in the first match of the day, and Paul Hanley, who of course we're expecting to see in the doubles tomorrow on the left-hand side of the screen. Well, I'm pretty sure that that ball caught the line. I think Hewitt thought so too. You could actually hear the sound as the ball hit the line. The umpire thought so as well, so they'll play a let. Acasuso will feel an awful lot better about the situation now, having managed to hold serve.
A reminder that we have the doubles rubber for you tomorrow here on the Tennis Channel. Acasuso and Hewitt are focused right now, but we'll shift to tandem play at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. It'll be Kaleri and Nalbandian taking on Arthurs and Hanley. Paul Hanley, one of the best in the world in doubles, number 7 in the rankings in that specialty. He's won 6 championships this year. Leighton Hewitt up the early break, 2-1, third set, best of 5, trying to bring Australia back into this tie. After Nalbandian won the opening rubber in straight sets over Mark Philippoussis. Back to Mark Cox and Jason Goodall.
It's a well thought out rally from Acasuso. Dictated play from start to finish. And that backhand down the line when it goes in is a formidable weapon.
But he has such a capacity to open up the court, doesn't he? And difficult to predict where he's going to hit it.
And again, with Hewitt missing the first serve, it allowed Acasuso the opportunity to step around and use the forehand to good effect.
It's almost as though there are two different people playing out there, because he's played 2 wonderful points, Acasuso. Hewitt really couldn't do anything.
Never really got the feet up to the pitch of the ball. Tough to play an aggressive shot when the ball is that low when you contact it, especially if you're trying to change direction with the shot. And it's Acasuso now with an opportunity to break serve and draw level. And he's done it. Some terrific shot making throughout that game, delighting Diego Maradona and the vast majority of the thousands that are here that are hoping to see Argentina reach the Davis Cup final. And they've certainly started well enough.
A touch of brilliance in this game from, because look how far out of court he was, way behind the baseline, wide of the tram lines, and drills that ball down the line for a winner. There it is again, a superb shot. Full of confidence. Something that eluded him a couple of games ago. Hewitt's bound to be getting a little frustrated now. His opportunity in this set, leading 2-love with a break at one stage, is now dissolved. His opponent is playing superb tennis.
must be so hard as well when you play against somebody like Acasuso, because you're never really in control of your own destiny.
Absolutely. Hewitt is just hanging on and just hoping either a mistake will come or as in this case, not hoping, but it is a superb winner. Hewitt there very wisely just content to put the ball more down the middle of the court to eliminate the angles. Patience being rewarded.
And amazingly, it's Hewitt with the chance to break serve once more. It's been either some brilliant tennis that we've seen from Acasuso in this set, or a whole host of unforced errors. Still very difficult to pick a winner in this one because Acasuso is so very unpredictable. Australia looking to win this competition for the 25th time. Argentina yet to do so. It's because he takes such big swings at the ball and he tries to generate all that spin, and he mistimes it when he just takes his eye off the ball, or he doesn't quite get his feet in the right position, or he just tenses up a little bit. And that's gifting Hewitt a lot of free points at the moment. It's catching.
Well, we've seen a few mistakes from Hewitt on the forehand, but nothing as well as that one.
The quality of tennis is just suffering a little bit at the moment. Both players, I think, well aware of the importance of winning this third set. Very good serve. Saw Acasuso moving to the Argentine's left, trying to get a little look at a forehand. And Hewitt loves to serve up the tee to the ad courts, one of his favourites. Very natural serve for him, a little bit of slice on it too. And the Australians will be delighted with the fact that Hewitt has opened up a 4-2 lead in this third set. The best forehand volley that Acasuso has ever played. Playing a little better in this game, bossing the points once more with the serve and the forehand. David Nalbandian, of course, is scheduled to be in action on all 3 days of this tie. So the Argentine #1 will have been pleased to have won his opening match in straight sets over Mark Philippoussis. And he'd dearly love to go into tomorrow's doubles with a 2-0 lead. That was a terrific backhand volley from the Argentine. That shot rather sums the match up in a sense. Sort of a total mishit, and there you can see himself sort of wondering what was happening. He'll probably hit a winner on the next one. interesting, you were just talking about Hewitt's strategy there, and I think it's quite a difficult match for him, because if he just puts the ball back in play up the middle of the court, there's every chance that Acasuso will make an error. So does he need to really do anything other than that? And then on the other hand, Acasuso can just as easily hit a screaming winner. So it's a tough one for him.
It certainly is. I feel that Acasuso likes to play shots on the run. I don't think he's better at moving towards the ball than actually creating space, moving away from the ball. And that is where, when he makes the most of his mistakes, is actually when he's backing away for the ball, so he can get these big swings that you referred to get the timing that is necessary.
And a good example of that there. The two shots that he made were on the run, and the third, the one that he missed, was a shot where he needed to give himself a little bit of space. Some sensible tennis from Hewitt there. Mark Philippoussis will be pleased that the Australian #1 is in a pretty good position here. Just steered the volley a little bit. And the first point of any game is very important. It really does change the mindset of the server. If he wins that first point, he can be slightly more relaxed. At 15 love up, at love 15 down, he's under an awful lot more pressure.
Acasuso's drop shots really have paid dividends, and well executed. This time Hewitt decides to go back down the middle of the court, but in a vulnerable position.
Acasuso. And that's the perfect start. The ball just catching the line, stayed a little lower than it would have done normally. Catching Acasuso unawares. Well, remember that Hewitt lost his serve in the 10th game of the second set to surrender it. And he certainly got a little tight early on in that particular game, showing similar signs of nerves here. And that's the first time that Acasuso's frustration has spilled over into a visible show of anger, and that will further fuel Hewitt's efforts. Full marks to Hewitt for a courageous attempt. The forehand was executed exceptionally well, but had a lot of time to think about the smash. Just got underneath the ball a little bit. And those signs of tension still evident. This set by no means over. 30-all. Such a difference there. Hewitt's forehands all dropping inside the service line, but as soon as he was allowed to play a backhand, the ball landed within a couple of feet of the baseline, and it was enough to draw the error. So after an hour and 55 minutes of enthralling action, it's Hewitt and Australia who have an opportunity here to move into a 2-set-to-1 lead. The ball caught the baseline. The winning of the third set is greeted by stunned silence by the vast majority of the fans here. Acasuso really didn't offer a shot and would have found it difficult to do so anyway. It's Hewitt who is now in a commanding position, leading. Lovell. And it must be hard for Acasuso to be really confident about his abilities to win this match when he's mistimed so many shots and made so many unforced errors. There's a good backhand off the lob by Acasuso. Got the ball nice and low. Ambitious shot from Hewitt in a tough situation.
He's kicking himself a little bit here because he really orchestrated this point extremely well. Got himself into a position where he really should have won the point and really tried a shot which was just not on. He let the ball drop just too much.
Did well with the smash, had a lot of time to think about it. And it's a good start being made by Acasuso to this fourth set.
Brian Weber back with you. Jose Acasuso trying to find some consistency in his approach. When he's been sharp, he's been very good, but done in by some erratic moments. Still, he's been boosted on every successful shot by the crowd. A good look at where this venue is situated in the Argentine capital. The particulars of the third set overall in terms of break. Hewitt 5 of 6 break chances converted. Acasuso merely 3 of 13, and he's had difficulty in keeping his focus at times, it seems, taking on one of the most decorated players in the history of Davis Cup competition, Leighton Hewitt. Let's also take a moment to credit the job being done by the chair umpire. Enric Molina has been superb in keeping tensions to a minimum as we take you back to Mark and Jason.
It's fair to say though that Acasuso is relatively inexperienced, and these are matches which are really valuable to him in terms of learning the capability that he possesses.
And it's an interesting situation too that you would throw somebody like Acasuso in such an important match.
Yes, because I suppose he feels that if he can string it together, that he has the ability to beat a player of the stature of Hewitt. And it's worth the risk in the context of the tie in its entirety.
And I guess sitting on the bench, the Argentine captain's got a couple of options. He's got Agustin Caleri, who plays similarly to Acasuso, hits the ball relatively flat, likes to go for winning shots, so not a great deal of difference there. And Juan Ignacio Chela, who plays very similarly to Hewitt, and those two have had a couple of good tussles in the past.
He's sport for choice, really.
But I think the thought process is exactly as you've stated there. If Acasuso plays well, he can beat Hewitt, or anybody really, on the other side of the net. If somebody like Chela plays well against Hewitt, he's still not guaranteed a victory. And if he doesn't play particularly well, then he's probably going to lose. So you can see the thought process behind the Argentine decision to pick him. Big test of character too, these matches, because if you do fail early on in your career in the Davis Cup, when you're thrown in at the deep end, it can have a long-lasting effect on your psyche in this competition. There are some players like Hewitt that save their very best for this particular competition, and they're a captain's dream, really. You simply have to push them out onto the court and they will do the business irrespective of the circumstance, and there are others that really freeze under the added pressure.
Yes, it adds another dimension when you're representing your country. It's a different level of responsibility. Some can play much better when they're playing for themselves in in tournament play. Others can really rise to the occasion when they're representing their country. And at the moment, Hewitt has the momentum in his favour, and in terms of body language, certainly is looking the more confident of the two.
That's the weight of shot that Acasuso possesses and the advantage that he has when trading blows with an opponent from the back of the court.
Yes, this is a huge shot. He has to move his feet really well to create enough room to swing his racket through with great acceleration to generate that pace.
It's a well-worked point. Knew what he was trying to do with each and every shot within the rally, always thinking ahead.
Yes, but yet again failed to get the overhead away. It's not one of his best shots, and he's right to put up those lobs there. Acasuso.
The ball might have just kicked up a little bit off the line, but still it's a shot that Acasuso should have made. Just looked a little laboured in his movement there. At some stage, of course, the fact that these guys have been on court for well over 2 hours now has got to take its toll in one form or another.
Well, I think the toll really is more of an emotional nature than probably a physical nature, and that impacts upon the physical side of it, particularly for players who are relatively inexperienced. The nervous energy expended can be enormous.
The body language from Acasuso isn't particularly inspiring at the moment.
It is interesting, the comment you made there. I do think he does look a little bit drained, and it is surprising in a sense, because these days you expect players to play maybe 3, 4, 5 hours without any real sign of fatigue.
Well, that's the very least I would expect from you, Mark. But I think you're absolutely right. Hewitt, of course, has been in this situation so many times. For Acasuso, it's all very new to him. One remembers one of the great Davis Cup matches of recent times. Leighton Hewitt against Roger Federer. Hewitt 2 sets down, breakdown in the third, came back to beat the world number 1 in 5 sets and ended up winning the tie for his country. Of course, the other thing to consider is that Acasuso simply won't have played that many 5-set matches throughout the course of his career. He's got a poor record in the Grand Slams, and he hasn't played that many Davis Cup matches.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Interesting to know actually how many, but it's no more than 2 or 3, I suspect, whereas Hewitt has a wealth of them in the bank. Treated there, Acasuso, really to a couple of relatively unforced errors by Hewitt.
Acasuso has played just the 2 5-set matches this year. One of them coming in the French Open and the other in the final of Stuttgart, which he lost in 5 sets, 6-4 in the 5th. Did have a win in the first of those 2 encounters, though, against Fabrice Santoro in Paris. Won that 11-9 in the 5th, but if memory serves, it was played over 2 days, I think.
And captain there looking quizzically. Just a couple of mistakes there by Acasuso. From 40-15 up in this game, he's now having to work to hold his serve.
It's nicely done. Important point played exceptionally well.
It's when he takes his forehand on and gets Hewitt out of position. That's really when he's dangerous. Forcing that slice response from Hewitt, a high floater, a relatively easy one to dispatch. Hewitt does well really to get that back. First set, those shots just travelling fractionally wide. And you can see a touch of anxiety here.
It's an absolute nightmare being a member of the team, but when you're not actually out there on the court, it's exhausting watching. That's brilliant. Should have won the point a little earlier than he eventually did, but still the backhand down the line midway through the rally set the point up beautifully for Hewitt.
Great point by Hewitt, really a forcing shot there. A little bit tentative on the overhead, but managed to get it away for a winner and a break point.
Well, the crowd sensing the importance of the moment. That's a very well played point from start to finish.
Well, that was a superb point, opening up the court there, forcing the defensive response, and when the opening presented itself, he was able to take it with confidence. But looking really jaded, I have to say, when he towels down. It's not a look of a man with great vitality and vigor. It's as though he's really struggling.
There's no doubt about the fact that Acasuso needs to make as many first serves as he possibly can. That allows him to set up the point an awful lot easier than it does if he allows Hewitt an opportunity to get a look at his second.
Yes.
Very important game for Acasuso and Argentina.
Trying to get the crowd to come to order. 2, 3, 4 set.
Continues to use the little drop volley when he makes his way into the net, and did so there to good effect.
The only worry I have about that is it is a little predictable because he plays the same shot every time. Just he only needs to play it once down the line, and that will pose just that element of questioning in his opponent.
Brilliant.
Well, it was a fine backhand, but I think from Hewitt's point of view, he would have liked to have done more with his approach shot. Look where it bounces. His opponent was able to get into position. There's lots of space down the line to make that shot, but it was a fine shot. There's no question.
Maybe that's why he doesn't go up the line with the volley. It wasn't an easy shot. Had to come inside it in order to get the ball where he wanted it to go. There was a lot of pace on the backhand from Acasuso. It was a heavily hit ball. A lot of spin on there too. I think the crowd now really starting to play their part too. No doubt about it.
Yes, Hewitt is wrestling to try to cut them out, to block, but he is not being successful. He's not reacting, and that's very important that he doesn't, because if he does, the situation will get even worse. Break point.
There's the break. Amazingly, it's Acasuso who now leads after looking down and out, really, and looking visibly drained. He's now been able to fashion a break of serve despite facing a break point of his own in his previous service game. And the crowd now right behind their hero. Still so very difficult to choose a winner out of these two. There's no doubt about the fact that it's Acasuso who currently holds the upper hand in this set. 4-2. Well, Acasuso now well and truly inspired.
Yes, that's extraordinary, and a couple of really brilliant points. And look at that, a superb drop shot. Totally instinctive, orchestrating the crowd himself now. That's giving him energy.
Terrific service game from Acasuso. Well, Acasuso thought that he made it initially. The linesperson signalled the ball good, but Hewitt sure that the ball was just deep, and confirmation of that fact coming from the umpire. All the officials here, the ones that matter, are neutral, which is very important.
That's a certain amount of bravery, I think, is required when the officials make a call like that. Very, very close.
I think that's why the umpire's grown a beard, just trying to keep a very low profile throughout the weekend, just in case things turn nasty.
Well, it certainly is. Hewitt has now lost his composure just a little bit in this context of his game. He certainly, his outward demeanour is very good. He's working hard to keep his concentration, but he's really struggling. Missing now by quite a significant margin with many of his shots.
Smiles all round in the Argentine camp as Acasuso reaches set point. This to take us the distance. And that's where we're going, to the fifth and deciding set. Delight for...
The atmosphere is electric in Buenos Aires. Jose Acasuso will have to overcome what Leighton Hewitt has done in his terrific career in 5 sets, but momentum residing with the Argentine, validating the choice Alberto Mancini made to play Acasuso in this second rubber. He serves to start the decisive set as we take you back to Mark Cox and Jason Goodall.
That's a good start for Hewitt. He needs that sort of point to lift his morale.
He's got to try and take the crowd out of the equation by starting well in this deciding set. Absolutely no doubt about that. That was a very important point. Remember the last time that Acasuso won a set in the second, he followed that up by playing an atrocious service game at the beginning of the third and never really recovered. So that point there was of the utmost importance. From Hewitt, signalling the fact that he's got a couple of break points here in this opening game, and it's been down to those unforced errors that have riddled Acasuso's game so far in the match. Terrific serve, just over 200 kilometers an hour, but a little bit of work on it as well, coming around the outside edge of the ball, the right-hand side, to create the slice in order to get the angle that was needed. One break point saved, one to come. Not a lot Hewitt could do there on both of those break points. Both were played exceptionally well and courageously by Acasuso. been called wide. The Argentines don't like it. Initially, from our vantage point, I thought it was good, but the umpire is in agreement with the original call. So therefore it will stand. Certainly isn't going to go down well with the vast majority of the fans here. Umpire now got a very important job in trying to be fair to both competitors. He can't allow the situation to escalate. Important moments here, big test for Acasuso with the second serve to come. Not sure it was the right play from Hewitt. He was well back behind his own baseline. Might have been better advised to get that ball back in play, given the emotions.
Yes, this was the good serve here, and just struggling to control that Hewitt.
Going to the well, one time too many. Hewitt with a little angle off the drop. Delight for Acasuso and the vast majority of the fans here, including the Argentine #1, David Nalbandian. That was a testing moment for, relatively speaking, the rookie of the team, and he came through it with flying colours. But it has to be said, he was helped a little bit by Hewitt, who missed 2 returns at a very important stage in the game. Most unlike him.
And rather predictable with that shot. He's been playing that angle backhand just a little too often. With real opportunity there for Hewitt to take the first game, and maybe that's the last opportunity that he's going to really get in this match, because the fury that is out there now is gaining a momentum which I think will be very difficult for him to control.
And of course, you were telling us in the 4th set, Mark, that the winner of the first game of the set is guaranteed to win it.
Well, it has happened. I didn't say guaranteed, Jason, but it has happened. That has been the case.
That was a little unfortunate. The umpire and the officials have got a job to do here, and they need to do it well. And quite rightly, Hewitt there getting 2 serves. Acasuso's got to be careful here too. He can be penalised if the crowd aren't quiet while the ball is in play. He's used that shot so well throughout the match, taking Hewitt by surprise time and time again.
Brilliant play, because he has a choice here. He either plays that little angle drop, or he could have played a topspin forehand down the line.
And dare I say it, the wheels are starting to come off as far as Hewitt's concerned. but you would never, ever want to discount him from any contest. Well, I thought the serve was way long, but it didn't matter. Acasuso responded well and kept his concentration.
Yes, and this fine forehand that plays after this right here gives him 2 break points. And Hewitt definitely has lost his rhythm, no question about it.
That's 6 games in a row for Acasuso and Argentina. And he's sending the fans into delirium.
Yes, it's not even a change of ends, and they're all on their feet, and Diego Maradona there playing his part in a significant way.
And how quickly things have changed. In that 5th game of the 4th set, Hewitt had break point, was unable to convert, and since then it's been all Argentina and Acasuso.
With full marks to this man, he's still fighting with everything that he's got.
Well, I sincerely hope that they didn't cut any corners when they were laying the foundations of the stadium, because it's going to be severely tested if Acasuso keeps this run of momentum up for the remainder of the match. He's missed it. It's just wide. He did exceptionally well to stay in the rally as long as he did, and he was attempting to turn defence into attack. All to no avail.
This is a shot I think he would normally make under normal circumstances.
And Acasuso sensibly taking his time. There's no doubt about the fact that this has been a draining contest for him. But that, of course, Mark, is one of the differences between playing away from home and at home. If you are tired and jaded and the crowd get behind you, you can use that to good effect.
Yeah, it's like an extra fuel tank, isn't it? They're carrying him along on the crest of a big wave, they are.
And he's inspired. That's now 7 games in a row.
Brian Weber back with you. A remarkable shift in Buenos Aires.
Sublime return of serve, creating an angle with some really good footwork, and then just adding a little bit more spin rather than using pace as he likes to do more often than not. It's been a tough match for John Fitzgerald. He's visibly aged in the last 45 minutes or so. Whilst there's just one break of serve in it, Hewitt will feel he still has a chance to win. That's why it's of vital importance that Acasuso takes out that extra bit of insurance by getting a second break of serve. He's missed it. It's deep of the baseline. It was well left by Acasuso. And Hewitt at the moment having difficulty in hitting a barn door.
Yes, this was a relatively easy shot here for Hewitt. In normal circumstances, this was bread and butter. But in this cauldron here of fire, a bit like a bullfight almost, this.
Amazing, really. Alberto Mancini absolutely delighted, and surely now he realizes that it's going to take an extraordinary effort from Hewitt to get back into the match, even though we know that Acasuso does sometimes tend to get a little tight. Surely now, at 4-love up in this deciding set, having won the last 8 games, the match is Argentina's. Time and time again, Hewitt has tried to win the point with the drop volley, and It seems now that the simplest of shots for him are very, very difficult to execute. It's been a long time since I've seen Hewitt really flounder as he has done in the last 45 minutes or so.
Yes, I think it poses a question of how much an athlete should be expected to withstand, because the bias here is so strong. I'm not saying the crowd are unfair, because that's not the case, but they actually are so overwhelmingly dominant that they are clearly influencing this match in a significant way. Having said that, there is another variable that comes into this equation, whether Acasuso actually has the courage to win this match. You've told us, Jason, and the results testify to that he does have difficulty closing out a match. You know, and this support that he's getting can actually be counterproductive. It's hard to imagine, though, at 4-love, possibly 5-love coming up, that he can actually lose this match.
And that's why I thought it was so important for Hewitt to at least stay within one break of serve of Acasuso. Then he would have had an opportunity perhaps to put a little bit of extra pressure on him, but once you fall 2 breaks behind, it's so very difficult. Well played. John Fitzgerald out of his chair immediately there. He knows that with Leighton Hewitt in his corner, he is always going to have a chance. Such are the fighting capabilities and the spirit of the man.
And that's a brilliant point by Hewitt under the circumstances. That is exceptional. It's almost as though he's playing with tears in his eyes there. The emotion is so great. Break point. Unlucky, it came off the line. I think it was a tricky bounce, shot through.
A terrific serve, and I'm sure that the conditions here are as difficult now as they have been all day for the players. The wind is swirling, a little bit of rain in the air, and the crowd at fever pitch. What a way for Acasuso to save break point. Everything going Acasuso and Argentina's way at the moment.
Yes, this one just clips the top of the net and goes over and bounces inside the line. A tough one there for Hewitt to control. Really wasn't in a good position as he slides there and struggles to hold his footing.
Brilliant. Nothing wrong with the approach really coming into the Hewitt forehand, but again he did give the Australian a little bit of an angle. Perhaps the approach up the middle would have been a better bet, but still can't take anything away from Hewitt. Terrific passing shot. But is it too little too late? The rain getting a little heavier now. Doesn't affect the court that much, just means that the conditions are that bit slower. something else that the players have to contend with. The fact that it's raining, players that have the lead when the conditions start to change like this do tend to try and rush a little bit. Acasuso will be desperate to finish the match here whilst the momentum is working firmly in his favour. It's not looking good. There's a lot of disruption in the crowd, and I think the match referee suggesting that it's time to suspend play, take the players back to the locker room, and what an untimely moment to do so. Hewitt with break point in the 5th game of this final set. Acasuso leading 4 games to love. Australia, though, lead the tie 1 rubber to love.
Brian Weber back with you. So the match referee, Stefan Fransson of Sweden, says the rain has gotten too significant. Play suspended because of inclement weather. Stay with us here on the Tennis Channel.
Well, this court this morning is still looking very heavy and slow. The players were saying after playing in the singles rubbers yesterday that it was a little slower and a little heavier than, in fact, they expected it to be, having practiced on it for much of the week. And of course, that means that it's harder to hit winning shots. You have to work an awful lot harder.
Well, you can see Acasuso breathing very heavily, really wrestling with himself at the moment.
The officials have an important job to do as well today. They've got to make sure that the crowd are fair in their support of the host nation. Disaster for Hewitt.
Well, quite clearly he's not without nerves, and now John Fitzgerald is at the side of the court trying to encourage his heart really with Hewitt at this moment in time, one of the few supporters he has.
Well, we can't really credit it. Got off to a good start in this game. It was Acasuso that was nervous, but suddenly, because of the unforced errors from the racket of the Australian, it's the Argentine with a point for 5-1. Not the right time to be attempting a shot like that, and Acasuso manages to break serve despite some very shaky ground strokes early on in the game, helped without a doubt by those double faults from Hewitt. And now Argentina require just 4 points to wrap the match up.
Yes, this ball just clipping the net, but really not the most appropriate shot to play that drop. It really was a lot of hope with this one. And a disappointment, really, I think, for Hewitt and also the Australian team, because he really handed that game to this man. He didn't have to do anything to win it. He's euphoric, of course. The pressure's off of him now, serving for the match.
Well, Australian fans can draw hope from the fact that when Acasuso was playing in the final of Stuttgart earlier this year, in the end of July, he was 2-1 up on David Ferrer in the final and led 5-1 in the fourth set, and eventually lost that set and the match. So it has happened before. I'm not sure that it's going to happen again. We shall see. It's all very well your opponent being nervous. You have to put as much pressure on him as possible, and Hewitt has played poorly since the resumption of play this morning. He simply has made too many unforced errors, and he's letting Acasuso off the hook.
Well, this is uncharacteristic play of Hewitt, really. The tension really has got to him. I don't think there's any question about that. It's a nightmare for him. Acasuso just wanting a slightly closer look at where the ball bounced. The ball was called out. Acasuso feels it just touched the line. He's not allowed to move around the side of the net. The umpire confirms that it was just wide. Right, the shot is right here. Let's have another look. A little bit of side spin on it, and just enough to carry it fractionally wide. Good call. A bit of wishful thinking on the part of Acasuso.
Still 2 points away. And that big bludgeoning serve earns him a cheap point when he needed it most. Few would have bet against Hewitt when he led by 2-1 and had break points on the Acasuso serve in the fifth game of the fourth set. But since then, it's been all Argentina. Acasuso winning 9 of the last 10 games. And here, standing on the brink of his greatest victory. He's done it. Delight for Argentina. Diego Maradona celebrates Jose Acasuso's victory over Leighton Hewitt. It took him 2 days to do it, but it was magnificent. Without a doubt, the greatest win of his career, delighting the 14,000 fans over 2 days, yesterday and today. And he takes Argentina into a 2-0 lead with the doubles to come.
Well, that's a tremendously satisfying victory for the crowd here. How tough, though, for the Australians. It really is a mountain which was really, I think, too high to climb. But the joy in the Argentinian camp there. A great effort by this man. Inexperienced, really, in relation to Hewitt by a significant margin. There he sends his shirt to the famous man who's absolutely ecstatic. Euphoric this is, and now this certainly puts the host nation in a very, very strong position.